Greetings and good day, my fellow Bobs, because it is time for another installment of Happy Valley, a For All Mankind podcast. I'm Donnie.
And I'm Brian.
Brian, we are here today to talk about all things For All Mankind, Season 5, Episode 2, The Hard Six.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on this reference at all? Because this is not the first time Ed Baldwin has used this term before.
Of course I did.
Yeah, so of course,
two.
You are so close. It was actually Season 1, Episode 5, Into the Abyss. Apollo 15. You've got Sedgwick and you've got Ed Baldwin and Molly Cobb, and they are trying to decide if they're going to roll the Hard Six and go land at Shackleton Crater, which of course is when they discover water on the moon, aka ice, and we have the beginnings of the Jamestown Lunar Colony getting built out. Let's go. Got to roll the Hard Six, and sometimes the results are really positive.
Yeah. So overall, Donnie, what is your score for this episode? You gave last episode a 4?
I did. I gave last week a 4. I did on the rewatch. I was a little bit more generous. I went up to a 6. But Brian, you asked me this the other night, and I texted you, and I said, this is a solid 8. Okay. I really liked this episode. What about you?
I gave it a 6 pushing 8, but then on my rewatch, I gave it an 8. Okay. I think I was a little jaded from the first one. And
not to be confused with Jade, longtime email listener.
That's right. I was jaded. Aha. And I just expected a lot more in the first episode.
Yes.
So it was, if I didn't expect as much, it wouldn't have been such a low, but just like nothing happened. Yeah. And until the end. But this one, we are getting more of the corporate intrigue, the government intrigue. We're still, I said this to you, firmly on the runway, but for the season, but we did have a lot of movement. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, you said firmly on the runway. I said at least the plane is now moving down the runway, picking up speed to hopefully go airborne.
We're still not onboarding passengers.
Yeah, but this felt to me like a classic For All Mankind episode where at least some discovery is happening and we're at least talking about the action that's coming. And then that last 10 minutes of it was just...
It's great.
Delightful. Absolutely delightful. Loved it.
And
loved it. Absolute cinema.
Get to it, but it's so funny to make that exhilarating what happened. If you think about it, it's like watching soccer and somehow it's exciting.
Yeah.
But these things moving 10 miles an hour and you're like, oh no, oh crud.
I always go back to Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. I don't know if you remember this one, but when they steal the Enterprise, like it is the most intense cinematic, like the music is incredible. And it's the Enterprise going in reverse towards a door, and hopefully they can open the garage door before they run into it. But it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like that scene from Austin Powers with the lift or the roller that's gonna roll over the guy. He's like, ah! It's like moving a mile an hour.
True story. Other than maybe like accidentally catching it on TBS for a few minutes, I've never seen any of the Austin Powers movies.
I have also never seen any of them. Cultural mainstays. I've never seen them.
Go ahead and razz us in the email this week. Of course, that email address is happyvalleyfam@gmail.com. You are our fam, and we love to hear from you. So happyvalleyfam@gmail.com.
All right. We want to get into the episode?
Now's as good a time as any.
Let's do it.
We've got the recap, obviously, previously on For All Mankind, and then we jump right into opening at the level 2, sub-level 2 of the kind of shopping mall area. And we did get confirmation this episode right off the top that there is Starbucks as well as Domino's Pizza at the sub-level 2 shopping mall at Happy Valley. So it does exist. We saw that in the trailer, but it was good to see some of those wide sweeping shots that were in the trailer, like right here at the beginning of this episode. And everyone's having a lovely day until Lee gets walked through the Happy Valley shopping mall, which is what I'm now going to call this.
I do have trouble with the scale because that is such a small area and there's probably 30 people maybe.
Sure.
But I think it kind of messes with my head because there's got to be 100,000 people on Mars at this point, maybe 30,000. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's
it's a lot.
Thousands.
I don't know if we have the population count, but it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I don't think they've name checked that, but it just messes with the scale, and I get it. It's Hollywood, but it just seems like there's not a lot of people there, but there are. So it just messes with me.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think too, just subtly, what I liked about this opening is we're just getting the everyday in life of these folks. Ed and Alex are like sitting at a table, eating lunch at Ilya's. Miles and his family sitting there working, and life is good until they start hearing Lee's wife basically screaming, and they're walking Lee through here. Come on. You can't tell me that there is like another corridor somewhere that they could be walking him, not disgracefully, like through the town center, like the town square, because that's totally what this is. And then Drill Sergeant, because he is now Drill Sergeant again in my heart. He is not Sheriff Palmer. He is Drill Sergeant. And he's like, this is unlawful assembly, and you guys get out of here.
There's 5 people standing up. He's like, unlawful assembly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Anyway, I'll forgive it because the rest of the episode is very good. But that was just awkward. I don't know. It was weird.
And I don't want to park too much on the politics of this, but politics were very subtle through this entire thing. And this is where you're in an M6 alliance and you're this base that's all these different government styles and ideologies. And I'm just reminded that Happy Valley is not America.
Yeah.
Because it feels very police state. And to me, they are proving that point with just dumb stuff like, unlawful assembly. Like, you're walking a dude through in handcuffs and people are asking you basic questions about why.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It felt shoehorned in to it. I mean, it's basically, I believe, based off the protests and riots that have happened. And it's, hey, we want to say something about that. Where can we do that? Oh, let's do it here.
Yeah.
And that's fine. They said it. It just, it felt awkward.
The not so subtle way of explaining what the state of things are on Happy Valley.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's fair.
But I think Happy Valley should be a police state. Like, you're in confined quarters. One mistake is everybody's alive, thousands of lives, and you just don't have room to mess around, man. And you're going to have people going crazy, and it almost should be a police state. So I don't know. Maybe that's controversial.
Man, hard stance by Brian Chaney right off the top here. Holy cow. It's basically a military base, but also you have families living in the middle of the military base. So to me, it's like the Enterprise
like
D.
A military base?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have families living on military bases all the time.
Yeah, that's fair, but they have housing and stuff, and the police aren't showing up at their door every day. It's complicated, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And you are too.
Yeah, I agree.
Ed gives this little chest pump here, which was like a scene from the trailer, just acknowledging is a salute kind of in protest to Lee is the way that I saw this. Yeah. And then we jump right into the opening credits here. I do want to acknowledge that this episode was written by Bradley Thompson and David Weddle, which were longtime veterans of Battlestar Galactica back in the day. Brian, BSG, I think it was a great show, and it was special to you and I. We used to actually do watch parties on that thing together. You came up to my house, like drove 2 hours to watch a couple of those finales together, which was really awesome. And our friend back in the day, Ben, may have thrown my dog, and my dog was fine. But I was playing a little hard.
A little dog.
Yeah. So Ben, if you're out there listening, I haven't forgotten that you threw my dog. Yeah. And my dog was fine. There was no abuse happening, so Sarah McLachlan doesn't need to call in. But
it was shocking.
There's a story there that we need to unpack at some point, apparently, because it just came to mind.
Some trauma there.
Apparently. So we do come out of the opening credits right into, there is certain music that plays in this show that tells you that a scientific discovery is about to happen. This music was played when they discovered the ice at the south pole of the moon, and also played when they discovered the Goldilocks asteroid. last year, and this time it was gravitating around the Seeker probe on Titan that was drilling some holes and doing some amino acid tests and stuffs and whatnots. And it's got its signal and things are looking good. And then Seeker probe decides to take a nap. And we have incomplete, inconclusive research evidence that maybe life exists and maybe it doesn't. But the nerd guy with the glasses is super happy, which we're going to find out later. His name is Walt.
And I may just be ignorant, but because I made fun of Kelly drilling a hole in the side of the crater, and that's what this probe does. So maybe that's how you find life. You go zoop, and you know if there's life or not.
You might drill life in half, but I do know the rover that we have on Mars right now. It has some core samples that it's taken where it's drilled holes like this and it's put it in vials. And then if there's ever a return mission that it can partner with, some of those samples will come back. We'll see. Or eventually people will just go there, or Tesla robots, and they'll just get their own samples. But this does seem to be how samples are actually captured based on the nerd research that I have done on said thing.
Okay.
So we get the cameras going around. You got the mission control at Happy Valley, and they're geeking out about this thing. We have Aleda geeking out back at Helios headquarters about it. I put in my notes here that Aleda seems more chill this time than she did in the first episode, where she felt a little cartoonish. And then this lady tells Kelly, Walt may have found life. And Kelly is super excited, coming back to HQ to have a conversation about this. And this is where...
let's go back to Aleda. I did think it was funny where it compares to the previous episode where they find the dead body and they're like, don't tell anybody about this. And then the next scene is news stories. And in this, Aleda's, hey, don't let this get out.
Right.
And it feels so purposeful that you had both the same statement twice.
Yes.
And this time we didn't have news stories. We didn't have a Carrot Top, whatever the other company is, saying something. But
her again.
And but that was interesting. I also thought it was funny until they see life. You can tell Walt hates his job. Like it's the most boring job. There's no hope. When she's, hey boss, he's like, yeah.
I feel like we do need a nickname for Walt. There's OG Peanut, who is like a wonderful human being. Love Peanut. And then there was like Nerd Peanut 2.0 Muppet. Like Muppet in the last season. Yeah. Is this Peanut 3.0? I don't know. We need a better nickname.
We need a better nickname. He's not a peanut.
Okay. Let's just keep workshopping that, because there is a nickname for Walt. And Walt they are setting him up to be at least a foe antagonist, it would seem, throughout this episode as well.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I got more to say about him.
Okay. So we go from this scene to Ed trying to visit Lee at the police headquarters, the police station, and Ed just immediately runs into a bureaucracy here. Okay, if you want to see him, here's a form you can fill out.
That is the antithesis of Ed. Like, he hates bureaucracy so much.
Big time.
And so it's so great. Like, you just see his face like
completely stonewalled, and Ed coming up with a creative solution to the problem. I'm just going to tamper with my ankle monitor, so they got to lock me up too.
Where they apparently have two cells
side by side.
Yeah.
And they were actually labeled like A1 and A02, but and they were basically little cages. I hope they at least had a toilet and a sink in there, but
didn't seem like it.
It was, I thought it was a perfect setup for Ed and Lee to have basically a nice buddy moment here. And it was great. Lee looks Ed in the eye and he says, I did not murder this guy. And Ed's, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Perfect buddy moment. I put my notes here. Lee looks Ed right in the eye and says he didn't do it. That's good enough for Ed. I love this. We also get here an establishment that the trial is going to happen on Earth. Ugh.
Yeah. Earth. Ugh.
There's got to be some extradition process here. Like, we're just going to dump him off on Earth, which I get more frustrated with this story as this episode goes. And I have more for later.
It just gets to it is an opportunity for Bragg. Who's the president?
Bragg's the president.
Yeah. It's an opportunity for him to win some points, and they're willing to sacrifice Lee to get those points. And that's all this is about. That's why there's no trial. There's no questioning. We're annoyed with the cop that's going through, or they are. This is all about political points.
And to your point about political points, there's a lot of ambiguity specifically around Lee and his status here, because he basically has sought asylum. He's really a citizen of no nation here. So the protections that like Kelly Baldwin might have as an American citizen, as a member of the M6 charter, Lee has none of those advantages. So they're just going to dump him off on Earth on a neutral country to stand trial. And as we learn later in the episode, the outcome of that potentially is very poor as far as Lee's concerned. We go from this to a scene with Alex and the other kids. I put here, meanwhile, somewhere else at Happy Valley, Alex is a pothead.
Yeah, I love it. It's not the first time we've seen pot on Mars, obviously, but I really do like this scene. I wonder what we're doing with the Russian girl.
Yeah.
Is she just there to grow Alex and I forget her name?
Lily
closer together, because you see them kind of bond over their contention with her.
Yes.
But it is interesting. Like, we're growing the next generation through these scenes. Yeah. And I do really like that. This was a good scene.
Oh, I totally agree. I put here that Lily doesn't think he's capable of killing a guy, and she's talking about her own personal experience and why she's come to that conclusion. Yeah. And I put Russian miserable girl disagrees. And you basically have that dichotomy between cynicism and optimism. So the hope and optimism of the West versus the cynicism of a Soviet regime and the kid who grew up in that world.
And it shows us that this is not a melting pot, that there are still borders through culture. And that's interesting.
I also just put production note here. CDs are a thing, because there was a wall of CDs. So we may have seen CDs before, and I'm just not recalling it. But again, just those little things here.
We go from this. Why don't we have MP3s? That's all I'm saying.
So they did have an iPod on Sojourner 1 in 1995, which is super early to have an iPod. But Kelly was playing music on her pirate radio, and that's how she ended up getting connected up with Alex's papa. Yeah, interesting.
That's right.
We go from this to a scene with Milos and Mrs. Milos back in the stock room, just cleaning up and having a conversation. And Milos gets a mysterious text to come meet me at loading bay number 27 or whatever it was. And he's going to have a little weird, awkward conversation with the drill sergeant. Yeah. What did you think about this conversation?
I thought it was good. Two things. One, we had the Darth Vader, pray I don't alter the deal further.
Yeah, nice call out there.
But I honestly, like, they're trying to paint him as a bad guy, but he kind of...
Who, Palmer or Miles?
Palmer.
Okay.
Palmer, the corrupt government. But two things, like, one, I'm going to sound like a PSYOP government shill, but that's good for them to know, to have somebody that's not them that can give them information. Maybe not in this context where we're doing backroom threats, but even his threat was really... You could tell he didn't really feel it. Like it felt like he had something he needed. It was something he needed to say, because he is a good guy, and it just felt it didn't fit him well to say, I'm going to tell everybody about you. And that was the only real threat there. The rest was him saying, hey, you don't want this. I don't want this. Help me out here.
Yeah. How do you feel about Miles in this dynamic?
I spent all of last season hating Miles. I didn't hate him. I liked the way he responded. He did back down a little, but even then, like, he stood up for himself. This is like a different character, dude.
I couldn't agree more. I really like Miles in this entire episode.
I know. Dang them.
They have written him to be a very likable leader in waiting, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Does Miles eventually become governor of Mars? I'm going right into predictions right now, and I know we're in the middle of recap, but let's come back to that. Let's come back to that.
If you told season 4 Brian that, he would have just melted down. I would have given up the show.
He picked up your laptop and thrown it right in the middle of us recording.
Yes.
Kudos, Bradley Thompson, David Weddle, everybody who is a showrunner and producer. because you are writing a Miles that I care about.
Yeah.
And I did not see that coming. So
no,
I am shocked. Here's what I didn't like. It did feel to me like extortion from Palmer. You sold out your friends, blah, blah, blah. Like
I agree. And that was
tortured
gross.
by CIA and KGB guy. It wasn't like he sold them out. He was very heavily coerced. And
agreed.
Hey, guess what, Palmer? If you'd been sitting in that seat, it would have been the same outcome, dude.
Yeah.
So
just to be clear, like it was gross. Like what Palmer did there, like that was not okay. Right. It just felt like he was putting on a suit that wasn't his for that moment.
It's cheap. That's what I don't like about it. So we go from this scene to Boyd basically getting ready in the morning, and we see a ton of papers. Like she's doing her own investigation into this whole murder thing, and that's going to play out as this episode goes. But I just want to call out again something that this episode does. I really like this Boyd character. Yeah. Like the way they're writing her so far, I'm intrigued. I'm invested.
I agree. I didn't like the way they handled the overt misogyny last episode because it was just so heavy-handed. But I do like in the first scene, she's the one that starts the, hey, I think we're gonna have a problem down here. So she is an officer, so she's not like some sympathizer. I like how they played her out in this episode.
I respect that they're writing her as a very objective observer. Yeah, in a lot of ways. And I think that her quest for truth is going to help uncover some other wrongs that are happening, which I think overall is going to have a net positive on Mars and Happy Valley. Yeah. So that's where I hope her character's going. And I think that's the trajectory that they have her on right now. So I'm invested. Yeah. Good job, guys. Yeah. We go from this scene, just that quick little tidbit of Boyd getting ready, to Dev's office. Brian, before we even get into conversation here, can we just pause and talk about how bawling Dev's office is? It is.
I was a little disappointed because in the trailer we get that shot of him standing at his window and it pans out. Yeah. Here it pans out all the way. I believe it did not in the trailer. And like it's much smaller. Like I saw it in like the side of a mountain.
It is. It's a hill. But yeah.
It's a hill. Yeah. It's not a mountain. It's not a hill.
Right.
A hill is not a mountain. But it is still
geography
pretty. Yes, yeah. You come here for the science.
And yeah, that's it. So yeah, Ed and company have come to ask Dev for help. I did just a couple of other production notes here. The 2012 iMac exists. That's the computer that's on his desk, which is ironic because this is 2012. And that is actually a 2012 iMac. I can tell because the side bezel is really thin. The 2011s and older had a much like wider bezel in the back. Yes, I work in IT, so I know these things. Yes, I'm a nerd. He also has the model of Maru on his wall, and he keeps just bringing it up as that's his end game. We've got to get that done. I can't do anything that's going to rock that boat. That is the best interest. Yes, we could not be where we are today had it not been for Lee, but this is almost the Ellen Wilson sacrifices have to be made speech, and Lee is going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah, and you even see just how coerced, or I don't know the word for it, but where Ed mentions the woman that got killed, obviously got killed by the Russians. And when Deb talks about it, he says she went to prison and killed herself or whatever. And when Ed's they killed her.
Totally an Epstein moment. Totally an Epstein moment, by the way.
But in Dev's eyes, like he knows that's true.
Yeah.
But he can't say it.
Right.
And he is co-opted to his interest of what they need to do on Mars, or what he wants to do on Mars.
Yeah. And I just want to pause and acknowledge that we did get confirmation here that Svetlana is dead, which she was kind of just one of those bright and shining moments in the middle of season 4 where she really stole some scenes in the middle of the series and then she was gone. Yeah. Which I think in retrospect, she was really just a foil to cause Ed to be more disillusioned with the process and the bureaucracy, which has obviously put him on a trajectory that he continues on this season. But I was bummed to hear that, but not surprised.
We assumed that, but but it was confirmed.
Other low-key thing here, we get confirmation that Legos exist in this universe.
I love that quote. I wrote that quote down. It's while you're up here playing with these Legos, less what I put less life is on. Lee's life is on the line. Yeah,
Lee's life is on the line.
Less.
So good. Yeah, it's so good.
Now here's my question for you. In this, is Dev wrong? And I ask that because there's just this idea of if a war could be over by bombing a military installation that will kill 10 civilians, is that worth it? And you probably would be like, yeah, like millions more will die, but these 10 civilians will die. And it's kind of like, it's not a cut and dry, no, that's not okay. But if you said,
we already mentioned Star Trek 3, Star Trek 2, of course, is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
That's right.
And then that whole arc of Star Trek is really about this question right here. Well, and there's no easy answer to this. So I realize that's a non-committal answer on my part, but I can see both sides of this argument. And to your point, Dev doesn't believe he's wrong. And I don't know if Dev's wrong either, if it means a better Mars. It's
complicated because we're talking about Lee, who we know and love.
We're emotionally invested in Lee. We know Lee didn't do this.
But if it was some dude, do you rock the boat for some random dude? And the answer if the answer is yes for Lee, it should be yes for some random dude.
Yeah.
But it's not for most people. Go ahead.
I have some theories on some of the shadow posturing happening in this episode that I'll get into as we get into Ed's conversation with the governor as well. But they are setting up a couple of things before that scene with Boyd visiting Lee's wife. And we get a little bit of pulling back the curtain on Kerrigan, the company, who's not supposed to be using non-union people, who's not supposed to be working at night on the surface outside of their authorized stuff. And apparently, allegedly, that's something that's happening. So here's the thing. I'm going to back up for just a second. This episode, there's really no mention of NASA. There's no mention of Roscosmos. Helios and Kerrigan are now the placeholders for a Western ideology and a Eastern communistic ideology. And I'm actually okay with that at this point.
It's realistic in that what jurisdiction realistically does Earth have, any country on Earth have on Mars? They can't, the response time is going to be days, I believe, or weeks, right?
If you're sending ships, we're talking, I think it was a month is at least what it was in season 4.
Yeah. So corporate governance is going to take over. That's that's inevitable.
Yeah. The factory towns. We're seeing that.
For now, at least.
Yeah, for now, which is interesting. Okay, so this does go right into the interaction between Ed and the governor. The governor's dead to me, so I don't even want to care to know his name anymore. So he's just
he is such a good politician, though. Like this actor, played that so well.
Yeah. So we get a couple of at least little backstory tidbits that I do want to highlight here before Ed gets into his conversation with him as he's trying to connect with them. He was a cosmonaut, so he at least has lived that life. A couple of really subtle details here. He was a member of Mir 7, which is a mission which in our universe, Mir was a space station. I think this is the first time we've actually mentioned it in the For All Mankind universe. Brian, do you remember Mir, like when it was going to burn up in the atmosphere and Taco Bell had a target out in the Pacific Ocean? And if like parts of Mir had hit it, they were going to give free tacos to everyone. Do you remember this?
I did not know that. No.
It was like around 99 or something. I did not go and Google what that actual date was, so I apologize if I'm butchering that. But true story, Brian, they mention a fire on Mir in this, and that actually happened. There was a fire on that space station, and it took them like 20 minutes to get it out. And that had to be like, we've had 7 minutes of terror on the show. That had to be 20 minutes of terror.
Yeah.
Like that would be like, of all the horrible ways to die, that's got to be really close to the top of the list.
On fire in space, yes.
So the governor dude, if I'm trying to be generous and kind, he has seen some stuff. He's been through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge that. But dude is the classic politician in this conversation with Ed, as Ed is imploring him to reconsider sending Lee back to Earth. We get a pretty good tidbit here around the environment for the survivors back in 1995. As they were eating their Danny burgers, apparently the life support went out. They were, a lot of them, sick. And Lee was the guy that got the life support working again.
The Soviet technology, he did it.
It would have been, those were American capsules, so he had to figure out American tech in those ones.
I thought Ed said specifically it was Soviet tech.
He said,
I might be wrong.
He only knew Soviet tech because that's all he had ever interacted with.
You're right.
And then, because those were American capsules.
So I shouldn't argue with you about that kind of stuff. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm a nerd. Sorry, not sorry. But again, as Ed's making this wonderful case, as a good politician can, he can take some facts and he can spin it to fit his narrative. And confirmation bias, dude. Confirmation bias.
I am with Ed on this. I don't like Ed's response. He is like a million years old, but he gets tripped up by that. And the only correct response to that kind of twisting of facts is just like a blank stare or an angry stare. And I hate it. But that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Where you can know something.
Yeah.
And media or personalities can come in and twist things so much that you're like, wait, do I know that thing?
Yeah.
And it's so gross. It's so weird. Like all that stuff about Lee is taking like facts and weaponizing them. Yeah. I could make you sound like a monster by only taking the worst parts of your life and saying that's who you are. Right?
Yes. Yes. That is the definition of confirmation bias. I have an idea in my head of what I want the outcome to be, and I'm going to be on a quest for information that reinforces the outcome that I want. Yep. And that's what the governor's doing here.
Yep.
From his perspective, he doesn't want to deal with this. He's worried about riots on Mars. If I can just roll this ball on back to Earth and let them solve it, great. Yep. Why am I going to try to get down in the muck on this?
And I think one of the important things we see here too is Ed, this is his third attempt to influence what's going on with Lee, and all three attempts have failed, and he has no power. Like the governor even calls him like Admiral or Colonel or Admiral.
He's
Admiral,
right? Yeah. Naval Admiral.
Yep. And which is kind of like a sign of respect from him, but very political for a politician. But Ed has no power. Nobody cares what Ed thinks or wants.
Yeah. I think that's the sad state of things. You mentioned
and he worked himself. He started at the jail to Dev, now to the governor. And he has access to all these people.
He does.
But again, no
he's
power.
earned that. But as far as actually having any real power to affect change, at this point, Ed does not. Which is sad. It was sad to see him get flustered here.
I know. I didn't like it. It was realistic, but it was, I didn't like it.
It was realistic. He has the misspeak where he says Molly. So again, we get the Hard Six reference happening a little bit later, and he mentions Molly here by name, which just made me sad. Made my heart sad.
Yeah, it was sad.
I just put in my notes here. Ed won't shake his hand as he gets up to leave. I said, good. I don't like the governor.
Yeah, take that. Now, it's just weird that you feel like this is going to push Ed. This is his last step. Could it possibly push him into taking matters into his own hands? We don't know.
We don't for now, but we will
don't for now.
Oh, my goodness. Meanwhile, back at Mars Mission Control, Walt and Kelly are awkward. That's my notes. Kelly wants to go to Titan, and Walt doesn't.
Yeah.
Walt here, he's immediately questioning Kelly's motives, and then this is just, it's so awkward. I feel like they're a little bit over the top with this dynamic.
Yeah, I didn't like it because, again, it just seems like we're shoehorning social issues into this. When, like, Kelly, like, she is weak here until that talk with Ed later, but she's a boss, man. She should be confident. She's a part owner in Helios.
Yeah, which I constantly forget.
Yeah,
but she like owns Karen's shares. She has a large portion of the company,
and so for her to be like subservient to this guy just felt like she should be better. She is better, and but they wanted to be like, oh, the man's trying to tell her what to do and she's not going to take it. And that's great, but she should have come out of the gate like, dude, Walt, just shut up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah. Then we get the fan service scene that you just alluded to with the Baldwin family dinner. And like, it's fan service, but it's also appropriate that the Baldwin family dinner is a mainstay in this family. And it's something that we should be able to drop in on at any point and be able to see their conversations. The spaghetti dinner, dude.
I don't know if I said this before, but Ed, pile on the fake Parmesan.
I'm here for it, dude. I am here.
And it looks gross, but I got to be honest. Like, that's the way I eat spaghetti.
Yeah, with the crappy.
Like, I want my
from like the Comet kitchen cleaner, like container. Ugh.
But I want it like clinging to all the noodles. I want it to soak up the sauce.
Yeah,
to where it's like a flaky. That's the way I eat it.
I'm the shredded parm. I like the sprinkled cheese. I put that on top of it. But you're right. Every bite has to incorporate cheese component, or else it's just you're eating bland noodles. And your spaghetti sauce has to have some zest to it, some zip. The crappy fake meatballs, that's perfectly fine, that come in the jar. But I love spaghetti dinner. It's wonderful. And this is where Ed says, sometimes you got to roll the hard 6. And he knocks some sense into Kelly here. Like, why are you letting this dude push you around? You're a boss. You have a plan, and you guys need to be heading to Titan.
And she sets him off, and he's already riled up.
Yeah.
And when she says it's going to be safer this way to send drones, he's like, safer. That's how they lost the moon.
Yeah, he mentions Apollo 10 here, which obviously is still lingering with him.
Yeah.
He also was talking about how Kelly is a crack pilot, which may be true, but not something we've ever witnessed in a scene on this show.
Ever, yeah.
She went to the Naval Academy, so it's believable, but that has never been a part of the story, and I feel like there's some foreshadowing happening there with her being a pilot.
Yeah. They're like, oh, crap, we need her to be a pilot. She's a pilot.
Yeah. She's a pilot.
There you go.
Makes sense, but okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out. They're setting something up there, I feel.
Yeah.
We go from this to then, of course, Kelly storms out because she's got work to do now. And we just get a quick little interaction here between Alex and Ed, who are now sitting at the table. And Alex now has kind of woken up to, I want to do something to help Lee. And Ed really pushes him away on this thing. That's what I had.
And that was disappointing. Like, they had such a good talk in the last season or last episode.
Yeah.
But again, Ed he's riled up, he's angry, and he's just taking it out on Alex in that moment. Yeah,
for sure. We go from this to the scene of Boyd now doing her night watch, where she's staking out to see what's happening at the Kerrigan Tower space elevator work site. And sure enough, them dudes working.
Yeah.
Brian, I got to say, I'm really intrigued with this Kerrigan subplot.
Yeah.
There's something nefarious happening here, and I am okay with them taking their time peeling back the layers of this if the outcome is going to be mind-blowing. And that's what my expectation level is here. So guys, be warned, because you're setting up something. You're giving me some hype about something I'm really getting excited about.
And we don't see Helios doing nefarious things, and we know that Helios lost this contract and other contracts to Kerrigan,
right?
Which I'm gonna call it Kerrigan because it reminds me of StarCraft.
Oh yeah, that's a good reference. That's fun.
Yeah, it is. And so it is interesting. Like, this is going to be an opportunity for Helios to have more of a share in what's going on.
Yeah. Like, how are they able to underbid Helios and all this stuff? Maybe it's because they're taking some shortcuts with their labor. And yeah. So there's going to be more that comes with this.
Employing the craters.
They are employing the craters, Tom. We go from this to the staff meeting happening in Dev's office between Kelly and Walt. We get a confirmation here that Dev is very decisive. He's, we're not sending more robots. We're sending people. It's time. We got to get the jump on this. If there's life, we're going to send people. We're doing a mission. Walt, you're going to be in command. Kelly, you're the pilot. So is this going to be like a 2-person mission to Titan, or is this going to be like big capital ship flying there with a dozen people?
Yeah, I don't know. That it sounded like it was going to be the two of them, but I don't know. There has to be other people. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, they're just more setting up this awkwardness here, which as I put in my notes. I said more awkwardness. Walt calls out that Kelly is a part owner, and he's, I'll do my job, but I don't have to like it. It's basically,
He does basically say, I believe in the mission more than you.
yeah.
You only believe because you're a part owner, I'm in, but I don't like it.
Right.
And that's obviously not good, but it's also good. I don't know. He's not going to sabotage it.
No.
Is my takeaway.
Yeah, I don't think he's nefarious.
No.
Yeah. Hey, is this a TV drama, just creating drama for drama's sake? Probably. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, back in the back office of Ilya's restaurant, we get Ed, Milos, and company having a conversation about, okay, we've exhausted our resources. What are we going to do about Lee?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Miles in this conversation?
Again, I feel good. What he said it wasn't mole talk.
Nope.
Like, it wasn't manipulative. He was being manipulated. Like, it was pretty level-headed. I think it's what he would have said if Palmer hadn't talked to him even.
Milos, unlikely voice of reason. Like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, this was the other scene that I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing with Miles here.
I know.
If he has any future in leadership, you have to be the even-keeled dude that's in the middle. You've got to be the centrist, and that's okay.
Yeah. And I am torn because I want Lee to live and be free.
Right.
But also...
At what cost?
At what cost, yes.
Right. Do we need to resort to extremist behavior, which obviously we know how the rest of this episode is going to go.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be a part of this, now's your chance to walk out of this room, and Miles and several other people, of course, walk out. And then the real plan comes together.
Yeah. It's in this moment, Ed he's got stage 3 cancer.
Yeah.
He is 100 years old. He has nothing to lose. Right. And so part of me thinks like it's unfair for him to rope other people into this. Mm-hmm. But it's also 30-year-old Ed would have done this.
Yeah. See, that is a good existential question. Would younger of Ed behaved in this same way? And yeah, I think you're right. I don't see him going differently with this. I do think that Ed sees what's happening to Lee as also undermining his own legacy and his own honor of everything they've done to get Happy Valley to where it is today. So this is a personal attack.
Yeah, and Ed always has looked through things through a lens of the injustice to him.
Sure.
And I think him going up the levels, realizing he has no power, this is personal. This is personal. Yeah. Like, it's more, maybe not more about him than Lee, but it's not all about Lee.
Yeah. There is I put in my notes here, police state expediting justice versus falling in line. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. We come out of this scene to a next scene with Boyd now visiting your Kerrigan people. She asked about the murdered dude, and basically she is stonewalled and dismissed. Like, they're not having any part of cooperating with, which this is also interesting because I think Boyd is just a beat cop and she's behaving like an investigator here, but I don't think she has any actual authority, which is why they just stonewall her and dismiss her.
And it shows you the power of the corporation there, where a cop can come in and she just waves over her private security and the cop leaves. So
right. Yeah.
There's a lot of power there.
Showing those dynamics. That's how I took this as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we go from this to the beginnings of the action sequence that's going to take us to the end of this episode. There's people that are at least making a lot of noise at where they're going to bring Lee out of the police station and put him on the transport, and they're clearing the space. Yeah. We get this really, I thought, wonderful interaction between Lee and his wife here. I wrote down the quote. He says, "Remember when I first came to Mars? I had no right to survive, but I did. If this planet could not kill me, Earth cannot either. I will come back for you."
Yeah.
Oh, I love Lee. He's a good dude.
He's a
good
dude.
Dumpling. My good dumpling. Boyd is trying to
pride issue. He's got a pride issue, but he's a good dude.
He's human. So yeah, Boyd, she's trying to get to Palmer. Apparently they're also like getting him out of there like an hour early. She thought she had more time to bring the evidence of the case that she's trying to build for. I don't think he's our guy. Yeah. She's a little bit too late here. And I just put in my notes here comes the heist. They put him in the transporter. The pressure's dropping. Lee's the first one to notice it. And we kind of get the back of a head that is obviously Ed Baldwin. Old man Ed is now in the driver's seat of this little transport vehicle. I'll also put in my notes here because they're depressurizing it. This is totally what Ed did to McHale at Jamestown at the end of season 1. Where this is how he incapacitated him, was like just lowering the pressure in the airlock. That's right. And then we get this really fun chase scene here. Honestly, I thought the special effects here were great. That they handled this whole thing with the road chase, the ground chase, but then also when the hoppers were in the air, which I did not see this coming. They've talked about other bases being on Mars, but ISN, which is this kind of like second tier coalition that's not M6 people, they have a base.
They mentioned they had a base in episode 1.
Good call out there. So Ed's got the wild idea here of we're going to fly towards this base and this will be the place that our man Lee can escape to. Yeah. Police dudes end up waking up. They do end up shooting the guy that's supposed to pilot the hopper. So it's all going to be up to our man Ed and his glorious foreshadowing to have to pilot this thing. I was stressing. So he's coughing up blood. He's wiping it on his khaki pants. This was tense, man. It was just so tense.
It was tense.
Gosh.
I didn't mean to do that.
What have you found?
I'm really disappointed.
Is this what you were giggling about during the prep? Okay.
I had something queued up that was going to blow your mind, but it didn't end up blowing your mind.
Womp, 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 womp.
Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. So Ed gets to fly.
Sail! Yes! Dun, 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 dun. Sail! He did. Sail! Dude. He totally does. So good. Man, if only that had happened on beat, and I hope you don't cut any of that in your edit because it was just so awkward and awesome. Good work, Brian.
Yeah, eventually.
This is the difference between us being the third best For All Mankind podcast and being number 1.
That's right. NPR would have had it all locked and loaded.
Work. Bravo.
Yeah, no, this is a great scene, and the chase scene, like all of it's so difficult. Like you knew this was kind of what was going to happen, but to have tension in this hostile environment, where what are they going to do? They're going to ram them? No, they're just going to follow them, and they did a good job. Ed is super worked up, and so of course his cancer is going to spike or the issues. Yeah. Yep. So it was anticlimactic to a point, Lee getting down and running and getting in the door. Right. But they did a great job with it. I felt the tension. It was exciting. Yes.
Yes. I thought it was played out very realistically. I don't want it to be like too Star Warsy, and it wasn't. Yeah. Like this is how this scenario would play out in a grounded universe. And I thought it was great. Totally.
And Lee, his face, like when he gets down off the ladder, just his face is just so comical to me. And then he's running. Even the way he runs is so funny. And then he like looks back, and I'm like, dude, why are you looking back? Don't look back. Go.
Yeah, go. I wonder too, is this the first time that Lee has been outside since that 95 mission? And like, maybe how much like horror is that bringing up in his brain of, dude, I don't want to be out here in a suit. Maybe. This. Like, he's not just shopkeeper selling his Lee merch. He's like running on the surface of Mars, which I have a romantic idea about how cool it would be to be an astronaut. But let's be real. You have a big glass dome that's between you and death, like in front of your face. Like it takes a lot of courage to be in that space. And he did what he had to do to survive, like in 95, and he's doing it again here. And now, I can't wait to see where they go with that.
Is this base where the North Koreans are?
See, they weren't clear about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. There was
when they talked about the ISN. Gosh, I need to Google, and I keep talking while I do this because I do not remember who the members are of the ISN.
I question that because I said they mentioned this base off, but they mentioned, I think specifically North Korea has its own base somewhere else. So maybe the ISN, maybe this is a different building or different facility, but it does have Asian characters on it.
And I do recall China being a major player in the ISN, and Brazil was the other one. I want to say, let's see here, Independent Spacefaring Nations. This is from the For All Mankind fandom wiki.
Can we trust that?
Member nations here. Okay, here's our member nations: Brazil, China, Nigeria, Malaysia, Pakistan, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, and Thailand. North Korea is not mentioned as a member nation of the ISN.
So if maybe I'm recalling incorrectly, but I believe
North they definitely said they said like a couple of capsules or a couple of the modules broke off for North Korea. So maybe that's another base, but he defected from North Korea. That seems like the worst possible outcome for him to end up 100%. Back in the hands of North Korea.
That's what I thought happened. And I was like, why? You don't want to go to Earth because North Korea will kill you. So you're going to go to their space station.
Okay.
So that makes a lot more sense.
Confirm he did not go to North Korea here. All right. Lee's got a shot. That's where we leave this episode. Boyd is going to be the one to walk up on Ed here. How much of your brain thought Ed's dead right here?
I thought he was dead. And I was very disappointed in that because it felt like a cheat because we're going to kill Ed at some point. And I said this before, I want him to go out flying. And if this is how he went out flying, I just felt super disappointing because it was not a blaze of glory. It was a pop rock of glory.
Touche.
So, a poppet.
Yeah. I think there's more to come with Ed. He's not a goner at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, you just wonder what they can do though, because at this point he's probably going to be incarcerated. I don't see a version where they're like, this mission is going on. The only person that can do this is Ed. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do this.
I still think this is one of those seasons that's going to have a time jump at some point in the season, and you can do a soft reset with that. 2 years have passed, 3 years have passed, and Ed is no longer under his 10-year probation or whatever, which I would think now is out the window because of what he just did.
Yeah.
But I feel like they can still reset to have Ed's big goodbye however they want to do it. And I think that's fine from a writing perspective.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, roll credits. Brian, that was the end of that episode. Yeah. Where do we go from here?
We've got Kerrigan, we've got North Korea, we've got Earth is going to be ticked off, Bragg's going to be ticked off. They set up a lot of tension.
They did.
Like I said, my second watch, I kind of came out of my funk from episode 1.
Okay.
And this is a really good episode.
Yeah, I think so too. And this Titan mission, like, give me all the Titan mission. I'm all about.
Tell me this. I'm excited about that too. But what does it mean for the show if they do find life? I think you've talked about this before, but like, why would we care? That'd be really cool. Mm-hmm. But what does it mean for future episodes?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think, and I'm trying to be careful in how I say this because there's also a really big science fiction production right now that's in theaters that has a possible outcome that really benefits humanity in a scientific way if you find life. So I'm being because
it's about finding life. Okay, great.
Because you need to go and see who this person is and why he matters. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm holding up Rocky from Project Hail Mary, which one of my buddies, a shout out to Luke for 3D printing this for me and painting it because it is absolutely incredible. There could be some bleed over in plot that would make a lot of sense in a For All Mankind universe. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in the future. When more people have gone and seen Project Hail Mary, please go see Project Hail Mary. It's amazing.
Okay.
Not the Mario movie. What did you think about the Mario movie? You told me you saw it.
A 2 out of 10.
Wow, that's a certified stinker.
It made no sense. It just things just happened over and over. I saw it with my 10 and 13-year-old and they said 10 out of 10. But they're obviously stupid. So it's just so dumb. It's fun and there's a lot of stuff from the games that I was like, hey, that's cool. And I laughed several times.
Sure.
But as far as story, the story was pasted together by a 3-year-old.
Oh man. Not good.
I say it probably is more like a 4 out of 10, but you
just doubled your optimism about this movie. I know.
But to spend $300 million probably something, and then they're going to make $2 billion, get a writer, dude. Get a writer. Make a coherent story that's amazing. The same thing Minecraft movie did the same thing. It's just let's have a bunch of stuff happen.
Yeah. And that's my counterpoint for Project Hail Mary, because it is so beautifully well done. And the word of mouth on it has actually been really good, but it's not going to make $1 billion, and it totally should, because it's beautiful and amazing. And the story is very compelling. And I wish it would.
It's not about a video game.
Because it's not about a video game, but it's being true to an in-depth story that you can be emotionally invested in, but also not so dumbed down to the masses. That is such a fine balance beam to try to teeter on.
Yeah.
I feel like Project Hail Mary does that really well. So please go see it.
So you liked it?
I loved it. I've seen it twice. I can't wait to see it a third time. Amazing.
Wow.
That was the jazz hands. For anybody who has watched it, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, people have been asking me this, and this is a For All Mankind podcast, and now I'm talking about a movie. But I watched the movie before I listened to the audiobook, and I totally thought that was a good order in which to do it, because you visualize things in the story as then they're talking about it a little bit better. So just put that out there too.
Okay. We've got some emails.
Oh, we do have some emails.
Project Hail Mary.
A little bit, but
okay.
That's okay. Obviously, longtime listener, not first time emailer, Jade. She also emailed in just to give us her score on it. Brian, she gave it a 4 this week.
Wow. Jade, come on.
Jade, I need you to unpack for me why you hated this episode so much. Because I thought that was pretty low. Yeah. She also sent me this link to a big Reddit theme about the food rationing that would have happened on Happy Valley for the 95 survivors, which I thought was actually pretty fascinating that somebody went and thought that out. But then in the comments, somebody put, nope, they ate Danny. That's how they survived.
They're not eat. Danny's alive. Stop with the rhetoric, the clickbait that Danny Stevens is dead. That's ridiculous.
Fair enough. She also talked about the Meru kind of being a parallel to the Line mega project that's happening in Saudi Arabia. Have you seen that thing?
I have, yeah.
It's literally
I had the same thought.
Line. Yeah, I did too, and we didn't articulate it out loud. So, Jade, thanks for bringing us back to that, because it's totally...
I think that's obviously the inspiration for it.
Yeah. Brad also emailed in. He gave us a great play-by-play. Kudos to you, Brad. Your notes on the first time through, the first pass, impeccable, man. You did a really good job with that. I don't do notes until my second watch. He did give this a 5 out of 10. So again, lower. I'm surprised by the lower numbers there. So he feels like it's dragging on. He pointed out this next episode, just kind of looking ahead, is called Home. So what does that mean? Is Ed going to be in a coma for the rest of the season is his question. Next time on Law and Order, Happy Valley. So he's still hating on that theme. But it's a founded argument, man.
I feel like, though, to be fair, I agree with that, Brad, because I want space. I want beautiful space scenery and science and government intrigue. I don't want a whodunit. I can watch Knives Out for that. But I do feel this episode gave me hope that this is a footnote of the season to get us the intrigue with the ISN, to move the
Kerrigan
pieces with
versus
Ed.
Helios.
Yes, Kerrigan versus Helios. And so I do, as long as we don't drag it out, the intro to Boyd, like, it's not about Lee and what Lee did. It's more about Kerrigan being a corrupt entity. So I'm more okay with it this episode than I was last episode.
What I feel like in retrospect, and I hope that I continue to feel this way about episode 1, was they were introducing us to two things. They were introducing us to the game of chess, but also explaining to us how the pieces move. And they were trying to give us, like, here's the characters and what they're capable of doing. Miles has some more moves than you're familiar with. Boyd has some more familiar moves that you don't know about her, but we want to make sure you understand what she's capable of doing. And we've seen that play out more in episode 2. I want to see more of that. If this is a chess game and not checkers, I think the payoff's going to be worth it.
I think they should have considered dropping the first 2 episodes right away, because
back to back.
Yeah, because the first episode really was just, it was, again, like I said last time, it wasn't something where you're going to go to your friends and be like, hey, please watch this show.
Right.
It was kind of like, do I want to keep watching this? Yeah.
Yeah. The answer is yes, obviously.
The answer is yes, but yes.
Clearly.
Cool. What else, Johnny?
Wait to see where we go from here. That concludes the emails. Shout out also to Artemis 2 for people who are tracking like real life space stuff. We've got 4 human beings at time of this recording that are heading to the moon, and they're going to be there in a day, and it's really exciting. So by be at the moon, they're going to orbit it. They're not going to go land. So
you're going to like wave at
it. It's been sad and disheartening to see the comment section waxing eloquent about we never went to the moon. It's amazing how many people actually believe that. Yeah, which makes me sad. I'm also.
Is it amazing how many people believe it?
Yeah, that we actually did go to the moon.
Yeah, the radiation. How do we deal with the radiation, Donnie?
Helios is going to build some towers that deflect it.
But how do we deal with it the first time?
You're in the Van Allen belts for an hour, dude. No. It's a big chest X-ray, and you're going to get through it. And it's not going to murder you.
And also, do you think the 1960s? What 60?
69 was Apollo 11.
69.
Apollo 8 would have been in, I think, 68.
The 1960s government wasn't like, oh, I hope we can't do this because it might harm our people. Like, they didn't care.
No, we got to beat the Soviets.
Yeah.
Which also, had we faked it, the Soviets would have used it to disgrace us. Come on. That's the most basic argument. The one that kills me is, what about the cameraman? Did he just stay behind? One of my favorite comments was, oh, yeah, just like at the bank, the man up in the ceiling controlling the security cam.
I think the best argument is, like, just think about how many people would need to have been involved in a cover up that large.
Oh, yeah.
And it's thousands of people. The
greatest executed conspiracy in the history of humanity, in the history of history.
Yeah. We can't keep anything secret now. There's no way.
I like the joke around Kubrick, and they're like, they hired him to direct it, and he demanded they just go ahead and film it on location. Like, that's a fun joke. I like it. That's fun. So I'm excited that in our real timeline, we're seeing progress as far as space is concerned. NASA needs to step up their broadcast game because the launch was so poor. I'm spoiled by watching SpaceX launches. Like, the graphics they have on screen, they're doing a great job of explaining what's happening next. The camera tracking is perfect. They're not cutting to a bunch of people in long chairs looking at it as the boosters are separating. Like, they have to. You're spending billions of dollars on a launch, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the broadcast right so that people are engaged and understanding what's happening and getting excited about it. That's the thing we got to work with. PR.
Yeah.
Just farm it out to SpaceX because they do have that handled like really well. Right. So tell me in the email, like, how you felt about Artemis. Tell me how you feel about going into this next week with For All Mankind. We still haven't seen one of the main characters, apparently, this blonde-headed girl that I think is Danny's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I pull it up on Apple TV, like, the For All Mankind poster now is Alex and that girl. But we still haven't even seen her on screen yet. Okay. 2 episodes in. So give me that story. What's going on there?
All right, man. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, I think so too, Brian. Always a pleasure. And can't wait to hear from you guys. happyvalleyfam@gmail.com, of course, is that email. Until next time, Brian, I guess this is our time to sign off.
All right.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.